It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Tulsa Drillers Baseball Mascot Coordinator, Chris Carrozza. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into sports?
Yeah. For me, it kind of dates back to all the way in college, around like my senior year, when I was pretty much having the realization like, wow, I'm about to graduate. What do I want to do with, career path? That was when I realized I really wanted to pursue being a mascot coordinator, because I had already been doing it for 3 years at the time. So I just kind of needed to get some credentials under my belt.
What was your time like with the Philadelphia Skulls as the marketing mascots?
Yeah, so the Philadelphia Soul, they were arena football team at the time, and the performer or the character was Soul Man. So it was like a Blues Brother. He had the glasses on, a hat, the jacket, the whole suit, everything, and that was really cool. I went to a job fair when I was going to a Flyers game, and that was when I met someone there who asked if I wanted to go pro in being a mascot. And I was like, absolutely. So I got in contact with the manager for them at the time. And it was a lot of community events, community appearances. So I didn't do anything game day related. So it was more of networking events. So such as Ron Jaworski radio shows, golf outings, anything kind of outside, like corporate events and stuff like that. That's how I got in with them.
What were your roles and responsibilities as marketing mascots?
So, I mean, as of now in 2021, I'd say it's a lot of social media marketing. We launched a Hornsby account this year for the Tulsa Drillers, and we're really trying to, have fan engagement through social media because of, the pandemic and stuff like that. But marketing Hornsby, I'd say with different companies and businesses and such like that would be an example. Like last year, we partnered with the YMCA. So Hornsby and the YMCA, we go hand in hand, and we did virtual workouts that we put on Facebook Live. So that was a way we marketed the product. We marketed YMCA and Hornsby. And then anything like, in-game and skit related is, if there's a really good idea that, a business has and they don't know how to execute it, we can kind of bring Hornsby in to, alleviate that pain. And hey, we have this mascot who, 7th inning or the 6th inning, we can insert this slate of, we can promote your company and also have Hornsby out there doing the actual promoting.
What was your roles as a mascot coordinator for the Caters Raiders?
So the Cedar Rapids Kernels.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was my first. It was a full-time seasonal job. That was a really good way for me to get my foot in the door and kind of see the operations internally. And that was back when we could still go to schools and do like, school assemblies and reading programs. So I was able to, figure out the ropes in that aspect and see what it was like to actually go to a school, because that was my first time doing it back then. So it was, it was kind of, intense for me, but it was actually really cool to be able to perform in front of all those kids. So that was fun.
What was your time like while you were the director of mascot operations for the Lake Erie Storms?
So the Lake Elsinore Storm position, so that was director of mascot operations, and there was a little bit more responsibility involved. I had to hire, a game day staff. I oversaw, the entertainment side of the operations there. So that was really fun. there was a lot, like I said, the responsibility and accountability was there, where there was just more on my plate, but in a good way. I was able to really feel out what worked as a mascot and what didn't. So I could kind of, it was almost like a lot of trial and error in Lake Elsinore. And that was awesome because I'll be able to, kind of use that moving forward.
Can you talk about, of course, your time with the Tulsa Drillers Baseball?
Yeah. So the Drillers was a lot different for me because last year was when I got here. And it was, meeting an entirely new staff, but then also a few months in, the pandemic happened. So we had to adapt on the fly and kind of figure out what we were going to do with marketing Hornsby and what the position was going to be, all of last year. And that's kind of where, the YMCA came into play. There's other stuff that we did last year too. But this has been really good for me where I'm able to prepare more for the major leagues, I would say. And that's what it's pretty good. I have some freedom to test a lot of stuff, but also I wasn't able to do any games last year. So we did the TCL, which is the Texas Collegiate League, for about a month. And that was fun. I was able to get out there, perform in front of, some fans, but I'm really looking forward to this year where we actually have a season.
Can you talk about, of course, what a mascot coordinator does on a regular basis?
Yeah, on a regular basis, a lot of it is just keeping up with the trends or whatever time it is. So, for example, in January, MLK Day. So there's an MLK Day parade here in Tulsa we want to get Hornsby out to. Valentine's Day in February. We have Valentine's deliveries, so on and so forth, stuff like that. March, we're going to have their St. Patrick's Day. And then up until May, we have the games. But we just got done wrapping up our Valentine's package, and it's like early March. So that kind of gives you an idea of the project in that sense, where it started, early February, and it goes all the way into a month out just for one weekend of work. But it's very fun, and it was a really cool project for Hornsby.
What is the day in the life of a mascot coordinator?
Well, I would kind of gear it more like for a game day. I would say it's up tempo. It's fast paced. It's very intense, but it's also organized at the same time, if that makes sense. So there's a ton of just leading up to, there's preparation in what we're going to do. So for me, it's pretty much getting to the stadium at a certain time, and then knowing, okay, what's going on with Hornsby and the skit that day, what's going on with the introduction that day, what's going on with anything related to execution of that. So who do I need and where, kind of like that kind of stuff. Outside of costume, we broke into a little bit of, how I've been doing some sales. So there's some phone calls, just cold calls you make, but then also networking calls as well. So anything corporate related where we need Hornsby out in the community, we keep up with those kind of stuff as well.
What is a mascot appearance like?
It depends. Sometimes it's a request. So we'll have somebody, there's like a jot form that we have. So if you want to request Hornsby, we have it come in where it's like, okay, it's this time, this day, where is it at? And then I'll pretty much give that person a call, go over, in-depth details of how the appearance would go. And then from there, it's just, the availability. So we check the calendar, make sure Hornsby's either able to go or able not to. And then most of the time he's able to get to the appearance. And then we just, have some fun. It depends on what it really is, but it varies, There's just a bunch of different places you can go: birthday, parade, corporate event, like a grand opening, ribbon cutting, anything like that.
Of course, whenever it comes to mascot appearances, let's say if, like, for example, you had like an event, but it was like a smaller event, what would the process be like for a mascot to come?
I mean, we would usually, there's travel time sometimes. So, for example, we had an appearance that was just in town, just down the road. So if we're able to do that, where it's like, hey, so-and-so a couple blocks down is having a get-together or an event, can you have Hornsby there? Sometimes Hornsby can walk right over, and he can kind of get there and just, make his presence known and say hello, hi and bye, and then he can, head out. Other times it's where is the appearance and how far away is it? So then we have to kind of do logistics and figure out how we're getting Hornsby there. And then how long is he going to stay there? Stuff like that.
What is the farthest appearance that Hornsby has went to so far?
For this year, we've gone an hour out, but that was because of the Valentine's package. So our range, we didn't really want to say no to too many people. If it was far away, it depends on, how far, but we went as far as 1 hour out for a Valentine's appearance. So that was really fun. It's a little time consuming, but Hornsby's fans they're all over the place. It's not just in Tulsa. It doesn't just, stick to this area. It's all around Oklahoma. So he's people identify with Hornsby.
What is something that you learned now that you didn't know before becoming a mascot coordinator?
That's a good question. I mean, I knew that I would have to relocate, but I don't think I knew how many times. So when I went to a job fair, when I was right out of college, one of the things they say is, you have to be willing to relocate. And I was totally fine with that. But this is my third city now. So in about 5 years. So I didn't know that I would be relocating that many times, but I did know I'd be relocating.
What advice would you give someone that is looking to work with mascots on the sports level?
I would say it goes back to the same thing how I said before, preparation. I would say prepare to prepare. If I could give myself advice back then when I first started, that's what I would say. As much as a performer thinks they know what they know, there's always things that you can learn, and there's always things you don't know. So.
Where can my listeners find Tulsa Drillers Baseball and Hornsby on social media?
Social media is at Hey Hornsby. That's the new account we have for Hornsby. And then at Tulsa Drillers is the Drillers account. We have Facebook, Instagram. There's even a TikTok page for the Drillers. Hornsby just has the Twitter, though, and that's at Hey Hornsby.
Thank you again, Christopher, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview, and best of luck.
All right. Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.